The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
This is Haymaker Combat Sports. Hear it here, coming straight from the source. Only with the real, they ain't here to dress it up. Sweet science, MMA, you can get it all from us. Trust, 5 stars cause it's live. And through the fight game, we can guide ya. Slick talking, putting them in caution. Passing all the guards cause the audio is awesome. What you waiting for? Spread the word, tell a friend. This the podcast where all of the discussion ends. When they start going strike for strike, this the show that'll tell you what you seen in the fight. They ain't playing on the mic, this a welcome to the show. Warm it up for the squad, Haymaker of the bros. I'm about wow, you can hear it from the pros. It's Haymaker Combat Sports, time to roll.
Welcome to Haymaker Combat Sports, powered by Belly Up Sports Media Network. I'm your host, EJ Reed, joined by my fellows, Aaron Admire, Steve Johnson, and we are back for the year of 2026 after a little hiatus. What's going on, fellas?
Well, happy Tuesday, happy New Year. We're in the new age of, no more pay-per-views, and I'm ready for it. I haven't signed up for Paramount yet. Have you guys signed up?
Well, there's this little site that's like a third-party seller, and they sell subscriptions. I did it like back in October, so I'll be using that.
I'll be signing up within the next couple of days so I can get in this weekend.
How about you, Steve? Do the old methods, or are you actually gonna get the Paramount Plus?
I actually haven't checked. My wife, she has a repertoire of platforms. I'm gonna see if she has Paramount, and if so, I guess say bye to streaming and all those other sites. So
I think Paramount starts at like $8.99, if I'm not mistaken. I think that might be the one with the commercials and whatnot. I mean, I got a feeling that it's probably gonna go up depending on the viewership and whatnot. I guess they're gonna dip their toes in the water and see how it goes the first few months, but hopefully they don't go too much up on the prices. So yeah, but like I said, we're in a new era. Like this is our first show for the year. Happy New Year, even though it's a little bit later into the month. With 20 days deep. This month has kind of been flying by. What you been up to, Admire?
Just hanging out at home. It's been cold, not doing anything. Actually, right before we started this, been working on my car. Bringing back the old hobby, man. Putting a big system in my car, putting the bumps in.
The booming system, like LL said. How long is that going to take? How big of a project is that?
I've been on it for about 7 hours now. Got all the door speakers in. I'm putting the head unit in right now, and then I'm going to wire up amp and subs and all that and get it going after we get off here. So it's a all-day project. I used to do it as a job and hobby and all that. So it's been a long time since I've done it, and I seen a TikTok like a month ago that was like, whatever hobby you had as a teenager, revisit it because you had it right. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to revisit it. And I bought some old stereo equipment the other week off of Marketplace, and it was fun, man. So I just was like, you know what? I'm going to do my Grand Cherokee. I'm going to put some shit in it.
Oh, that's what's up. Inspired by TikTok, Sometimes TikTok has some good stuff on there, some good ideas. How about you, Steve? What you been up to this year so far?
Nothing much. Just had a belated birthday yesterday. And,
happy belated birthday.
Appreciate it.
Happy birthday.
That's about it, man. Just feeling anxious from a long stint of not seeing MMA. So, these little so-called, forgot what league, these wrestling leagues maybe, but that's not cutting it for me.
Oh, it's all about real American fighting or whatever, wrestling. I hadn't checked out any of those cards yet.
You talking about Luke Rockhold's newest sport to lose in?
Yeah, he's tired of getting knocked out.
No, I don't even know what he's doing at this point. I think he's just bored. Doesn't he like doing modeling or something? Why doesn't he just do that full time?
That's what he started in. He was like originally a model before he came over to like MMA, I believe. Like I think when he came into, was big into fighting. I think he was dating Selena Gomez. When she used to be in the crowd, but he kind of fell off pretty hard. He's lost in multiple sports now. I'll probably get called out for talking shit. People say, "Oh, he's done a lot more than you." Yeah, he's done a lot more than me, but I haven't lost in all the sports either.
That's true, very true. But hey, I guess if it's all of his like cognitive functions are still intact, I guess keep doing it. But I don't know, it just looks worse and worse. Keep losing. But yeah, man. As far as things on my end, I've been doing dry January. I know you. I know it's been years since you picked up the bottle of Admire. I mean, the first couple of days I was kind of bored, but then like after a few days, I'm like, man, I forgot about drinking at all. So like it's been smooth sailing. I mean, it's 2/3 away, and it kind of went by fast. And
yeah, it'll be 3 years for me at the end of this month.
And that's what's up. But I know. I mean, once the 30 days are up, I probably won't like just go crazy either. Like I'll probably just stick to weekends and chill out during the week and probably cut back on the hard stuff too. Probably just do some like wine or like I'm sophisticated or something. But like, yeah. So, cause I'm trying to drop like 20 pounds. So I feel like dry January is a good way to get started. So.
Well, if you want to break it a little early, Rucker's coming in town next Friday, the 30th. He's staying at the Ameristar here in Kansas City. If you want to come up, I'll be down there hang out.
Yeah, we talked about that on Boot to the Face the other day. I'm gonna be in Houston that weekend, or else I would have came.
Damn.
Yeah, good times. I'll live vicariously through y'all on social media. Kansas City, yeah, he's from there. I keep forgetting he's from there. I know he's visiting family, and I know he said he was gonna come by, swing by, and chill out with you. Is Devin gonna be there?
Yeah, Devin said he's gonna ride down with me and hang out.
Oh, y'all riding down from St. Joe's?
Yeah.
I didn't know Devin stayed in the St. Joseph area.
Yep, he lives up here.
So where y'all meeting Rucker at?
Just the hotel and casino we staying at.
Oh, at Ameristar.
Yeah. And then wherever else he wants to go.
They have one in St. Louis as well. When I lived out in California, the state, because there's a California, Missouri, people used to always say, "Where you come from?" Well, the city of California. No, the actual state. But like in the Bay Area, they have these casinos around, but they were like cards only. They only had card games. So when I moved here, I saw the Ameristar. I'm like, do they only have card games? But I guess the caveat around that is because they're on the water or something like that. So they can have like a full casino.
Yeah, Missouri's weird. The casinos in Missouri have to be on the water. So they dig out a big notch of the Missouri River and make it like a almost like a moat. You see like on TV the castles that have the moat of water around it. That's what our casinos are. They just like notch out the river and let some water in and build a casino right there in like a little pond. Like it ain't shit. So we have Ameristar, Harrah's, Bally's, and Argosy here in Kansas City. And then Kansas has different rules. Right across the fucking river in Kansas City, Kansas, you can just put a casino up anywhere. Right across the river, you have 7th Street Casino, which is fucking ghetto as shit, dude. It is an old church that they turned into a casino. It is wild. And there's Hollywood Casino, which is brand new over at the Speedway. And then in Kansas, you have a bunch of Indian reservation casinos. But if anybody ever makes it to Kansas City, Kansas, 7th Street Casino inside the church, it is an experience, man. It is right in the middle of the hood, and you can tell it was a church. It's kind of blasphemy looking. It's just wild.
Yeah. What do you think about something like that, Steve?
Man, that's crazy. I haven't been to a casino, but if I would have went to that, that would be a hell of an impression if you're saying what it sounds like.
I want to go just to see how it looks inside. It looks like a gutted out church. I hadn't been to a casino in Missouri yet, so I feel like that was like kind of take down the excitement of going to Vegas if I got spoiled by going to the casinos out here. But I do want to stay at that Ameristar, so I'll probably check that off the list this year. But
Well, if you ever come up here to Kansas City and stay, I told Rucker to stay at Harris. Harris is way better than Ameristar. Ameristar is all right, but the rooms are way cheaper at Ameristar. Like Harris is like 3 times the price because it's fucking dope. And then I got a casino up here in St. Joe. It's just a little turd, but you can get your fix.
I mean, have you been on DraftKings and all of that stuff yet?
I do FanDuel. That's what I've been betting on.
FanDuel, DraftKings, like rivals. How's that been going so far?
I did a couple little bets, just wild shit. Betting on some like really heavy favorite, like tennis and just shit. I even bet on video games. People playing Madden on video games. And I was just betting a couple dollars here and there. I didn't bet any serious money, but I'll bet some money on this weekend's fights.
I hope this doesn't lead down a path of degeneracy for like the Gen Zers, because I feel like they would take this overboard, especially when they've been living in basically virtual reality their whole life. They just go down a rabbit hole of.
It already is. Like I read on Reddit a lot, and people talk about it all the time, like how much this, online gambling has led to people just absolutely degenerate gambling, losing everything they have, going broke. I mean, there's people maxing credit cards because you can use credit cards on these sites now. So, back in the day, you kind of just had to have cash to go to the casino and gamble. But now you can sit at home and you can rack up credit card debt because you can use credit cards, you can use PayPal, you can, use all that shit, and you could really go in the hole and get in some trouble.
What if this is like a evil scheme of the government to just keep all the wealth and get it back? Isn't it like tax? These places are like taxed by. This brings in taxes for the state or something like that. The gambling sites.
Allegedly, that's the whole big thing is when they try to get these things passed for gambling it's 80% of the taxes are going to go to schools and rebuilding this, this and that, going to the kids, for the homeless, for, whatever. And I don't know how much of it actually makes it to that cause that it's supposed to. So, I'm sure it lines somebody's pocket, whatever legislator helped get it passed.
Exactly. So, hey, be safe out there if you're going to put bets. I hadn't got on it yet, so maybe one day, but if I do, it'll be something small, like you said. Did you ever the Kalshi app?
No, what's that?
It's KALSHI. So apparently it's like, because it's legal in every state, you put money on it, and it's basically like like the caveat, like the way it's like gets around it is because it's like you're betting on like predictions. That's how they get away with it, like being legal in every state. I can't remember the exact logistics, but my 25-year-old nephew was showing me it and how he was putting monies on predictions or whatnot. I just told him, man, be careful with that. Yeah, I got to look into it.
Yeah, I mean, gambling's everywhere now. Like, I don't know about down there with you guys, but like up here, there's slot machines in gas stations now. And the way they're around that is the slot machine, when you hit the button to spin it, it tells you if you won or not first, and then it spins. So it's not like a gambling outcome. It tells you if you won or not first. So that's not gambling. It tells you the winner lost first, then it spins the reels. So we have slot machines in gas stations, the coin pushers with the quarters in it now. Those are huge in the gas stations up here. Like, gambling's just everywhere now, everywhere you go.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's lining up someone's pocket, but it ain't gonna be from my money for the most part. So yeah, it is what it is. But let's actually jump into some MMA, fellas. It's not been too much since we last left, but we always talk about how we hate to talk about this guy, but he's back in the news. Conor McGregor once again in the forefront of things. Jorge Masvidal was on Ariel Helwani's show, and I guess they were talking about possibility of future fights on the White House. And Jorge responded, "It's not looking bad right now. I can't say too much more, but it's not looking bad right now." So, what are y'all thoughts on the possibility of Conor McGregor and Jorge Masvidal? I'll let you kick it off, Admire.
I mean, I like the idea of them fighting. I mean, that's a cool fight. They've both been away for quite a while. Masvidal went out, I believe, on a loss or a couple losses. Their styles match. They both want to stand up. Neither one of them want to go to the ground. Both stand and bang type guys. You know, I'd love to see that fight. Size-wise, I think Jorge is much bigger. Especially them both being laid off. I think Jorge's probably put on a lot of weight. I'm not sure, but McGregor probably as well, you know? So if they meet, I could see them doing probably, you know, catch weight, even 175, you know. Jorge, you know, he's bounced around a couple weight classes, but, you know, maybe even just 170 just to keep it a traditional welterweight fight. I don't know. You know, he hasn't been in the UFC for quite a while. We know Conor McGregor hasn't been in the UFC for a while. So, I mean, it might just be a way for both of them to be keeping their names out there. I'd watch it. You know, that's a banger of a fight.
Steve?
I would definitely, I like it. I mean, it's better than when I heard him said he's going to fight Donald Cerrone. I think that he needed a better skill match for a comeback. But considering where he is at his career right now, I think that would be a perfect matchup. You know, minus his Jorge's haven't achieved champion. He's always been a people's fighter, and we always like to see him fight every time. I do, honestly. Stand up, gets in there, and tries to knock his fighters out instead of get a decision. Conor, I think it's the same body type. Fighting styles would complement each other to have a fight that I think we would all want, because I don't think any of them would go to the ground and go for submissions.
Yeah, it'll be a stand and bang type fight. But to ask both of you a question, what level of a fight will this be between the two of these guys, Admire?
I mean, they were both very elite at one time. I mean, if they really trained, it could be a very high level fight. I mean, they're not horrible. I just pulled up Masvidal. Man, I forgot. He went out on a 4-fight losing streak, 2 to Usman, Colby, and Burns. It's still not like he's a horrible fighter. McGregor, you know, he's not horrible. He's just been away for so long, and you know he doesn't like the ground stuff. I mean, it's not like you're putting them in a boxing ring and they're just going to do like, you know, what we saw a couple weeks ago with Anderson Silva. You know, I think it could be a high-level fight, you know, especially with them being just, you know, really good stand-up guys. So, I mean, it would be really interesting. I don't think either one of them is going to turn around and get a title shot off of it or even be ranked off of it, but it's a way to get them back in, you know, the graces of the people and the UFC, and, you know, get them on another pay-per-view and get them rolling in some more money if they want.
How do you know it's not going to be a horrible fight, especially Conor hasn't fought in 5 years and that catastrophic injury? How do you know it's not going to be a bad fight?
I mean, he can still throw hands. I'm sure he can. And I'm sure he can still throw a kick. I'm sure he could still throw a punch. I mean, unless he just completely fell off. I mean, you know, do you think that somebody that elite striking can just fall off like that?
Yeah, I do. I think so. Yeah.
You think so?
Father Time is undefeated. Yeah, especially the lifestyle that he lives. If it were somebody like Yoel Romero, I'd be like, all right, it's Yoel Romero. He'll come back still. But Conor McGregor, who knows what kind of sugar allegedly I'm trying to get sued, that he does on the off season or when he's not training and all the drinking, the yachts and all of that. He could have dropped off a significant amount, but I don't know. What do you think, Steve?
Well, to me, I think it would even out anyway, and I think it would come to a factor of whose muscle memory would start waking up in between two fighters who've been asleep for a while, as far as in competition. And I think that's what's gonna between both of them, because I think both of them would be out of shape, eating good. Masvidal literally, I can say retired because it's been about 3 years since his last fight.
Didn't he do like some boxing in between and some other stuff? No, he didn't do bare knuckle, but he's done some stuff in between.
He boxed Nate Diaz and lost in 2024.
Man, it's been that long ago. Did he do some like exhibition stuff in between? Maybe. So yeah, like you said, he did on that 4-fight losing streak. He lost Nate Diaz in a boxing match, and yeah, that was the last thing he did, 2024. But that was in July, so it hasn't been like quite 2 years. But it's still a long time off, and I don't know. Some fighters like basically stay ready and stay training, and then other fighters don't do anything when they're not training. So I don't know what Jorge does when he's not in fight camp, but Conor ain't training. I may be wrong. Maybe might be some things he's doing behind the scene, but he's got a bunch of kids and a bunch of other stuff going on. But yeah, I think like you said, Steve, like it probably in similar situations. So looking at it like the actual fight, it probably like at the naked eye, you're like, all right, both of these guys are scrapping. But then what if I don't want to say unthinkable, but then what if Conor McGregor actually wins? Him, he's like, man, I feel good. Let me go fight somebody else. And he tries to fight somebody in the top 15. Then what do you think will happen, Amire?
Yeah, then at that point, I don't think he does very well. That I wouldn't put him against anybody in the top 15.
Exactly. So like what are we're just doing this fight for clout, basically, just to get eyes on the White House card. I don't know what you think about that, Steve.
Yeah, I don't think he has any leverage other than what's good coming up for him, which is that. Any other that, it's just a normal UFC card, him trying to grab eyes on somebody, and we're going to argue, is it even if it's not a fighter known, then I don't think it's even worth it on him. It's just we're seeing a glorified sparring match to see Conor rather than two competitive fighters with each other, unless you're going to do some legacy matches.
And I didn't get to hear the interview. How does Masvidal know that Dana White's even going to allow him back? You left on a 4-fight losing streak. Have you been invited back? Have you signed a new contract?
I'm sure he's got feelers out there. He probably isn't saying this out of nowhere, but it's funny that you brought Dana White up because TMZ interviewed him and they asked him about this fight. He said, I don't listen to any of that goofy shit. It's goofy shit. And then he said something else that is probably cap. He said, what's funny? In my algorithm on Instagram, I have nothing MMA. Literally nothing MMA pops up. All right. He had to add that last part, and I highly doubt that nothing MMA pops up on your Instagram. But going back to the first thing I was talking about, he said it's goofy. Do you think this is just Dana White being Dana White, just trying to be the first person to break this, or you think Jorge's just making shit up, Admire?
I don't know, man. You never know because, Dana White is real weird like that. But also, I mean, it does sound kind of goofy, with Masvidal. He's been out of the game. He's 41 years old. He hasn't fought for, at the point now, it's been almost 3 years. By the time the fight happens, it could be almost, 3.5, 4 years. And he's talking the White House card, which is going to be the biggest card of all time. What says that you should be on this card fighting McGregor, the pay-per-view king? You know, like, I don't know. It doesn't really make sense if you really think about it.
Yeah, but who else would make sense? Michael Chandler? That fight just needs to be buried.
I mean, if you think about it, McGregor really doesn't even make sense. But
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That doesn't make sense. I mean, at this point, I feel like Masvidal is the Temu version of Diaz anyway. So it's either Diaz or Masvidal. That's the only things that quote unquote makes sense if you're gonna put him against anybody. None of them make sense, like you said, because he's been out so long. Like you said, if you got in there with a top 15 guy, you probably get washed. So I don't even know.
The only person I think, and I almost forgot about him, so almost everybody retired that would make sense for him to fight. But I think he was injured. If Rafael dos Anjos, that's the only thing.
I mean, yeah, it's the fight that was supposed to happen when he supposed to get the lightweight title, and then it switched to it switched because he beat Chad Mendez for the featherweight title. Then it switched to Philly guy Eddie Alvarez.
Eddie Alvarez, yeah, the RDA fight we never got, Red Panty Night.
Yeah, and then that was like RDA missed a big payday from getting injured on that one, and he never got that back. So, I mean, you could. Is RDA even still in the UFC? I mean, you could go that. I don't even know if he's still employed. It's hard to keep up with fights nowadays.
I forgot who we got. Did Buckley injured? I can't remember who we got injured.
I don't know. I think he's been basically regulated to a prelim fighter, if I'm not mistaken, at this point.
RDA's on a 3-fight losing streak, just lost to Jeff Neal in October.
So I'm guessing he still is signed, or we would have heard him getting released. He's 41. I mean, yeah, it'd be like somebody of that type of level. And then, like, what are you fighting at this point if you're going against guys like this just to say you did it? I mean, I think the Conor McGregor ship is sailed. After that injury, he missed like literally prime years of his career, and he's 37 now. So I don't know, but staying on Conor McGregor side of things, he recently did an interview. He claims that Paramount deal voided the UFC contract negotiating a new deal for the White House card. So I know you read some of the story, Admire. Like, what was his the main point when he was talking about this?
Yeah, so it's something we brought up whenever we first talked about the Paramount deal happening with the pay-per-views, model going away. A lot of the fighters, the bigger fighters' contracts being that, a lot of their pay depends on the pay-per-view sales. Conor McGregor, like I just said a minute ago, he's the pay-per-view king. His pay was based on the sales. So now with things going to Paramount and no pay-per-views, they have to restructure his contract. So that's what he was talking about with no pay-per-views. They have to restructure his contract and give him a new contract, going into the White House card. So he's making it sound like he is going to be on that card. They're going to have to pay him differently. Who knows what that looks like? Maybe it's just him talking shit. I mean, it's, he always finds a way to say something that keeps him talked about. We hate talking about him, but we find a way to keep talking about him. He's, he's a polarizing figure for some reason. Like, he hasn't fought for years, and we just keep talking about him. He finds ways to say stuff that is, halfway interesting. If he's still a big star, he can be on that White House card. It's going to be huge. It just depends on who he goes against. Like we just talked about Masvidal or somebody big. I mean, it'll be big. That card's going to be big regardless, but putting him on there just gives it that extra, kick to the next level. He ain't going to be the main fight of that, but he'll be towards the top.
Going back to, like you said, we were talking about this earlier with this new deal. Just reading a little more on what he said, he's saying that he's doing a new contract, so they're going into negotiations in February, and he's interested to see how it goes. He's talking about the UFC upping their profit because that Paramount deal was $7.7 billion, and he said they 4 times their profit. I don't know how much truth to that is, but basically, I don't know. Contract negotiations get ugly, so is this gonna like set the new market, Admire?
I don't know, but when you go into contract negotiations, you got to have something to negotiate with. I mean, what's he gonna stand on? Like, what is his bargaining chip that he's gonna use to, he hasn't fought in, I want to be accurate here. His last fight was
2021, wasn't it?
2021. So you haven't fought in almost 5 years. You haven't won a fight since January 2020. So it's been 6 years since you've won a fight. You don't have a lot to stand on and really negotiate. You should be lucky if the UFC offers you anything. So, I mean, I don't think that he's the one in power to negotiate anything. I think they are. I mean, really, if they offer him $1 million a fight, he should take it and, base it on, okay, if you win, then we'll come back and we'll negotiate your next fight. We'll do it on a fight-by-fight basis. You were set up to fight Chandler, never happened. This shit's drug on, and you've teased coming back. You've missed drug tests. This has happened. Like, we can't be doing this back and forth shit. We will sign you on a fight-by-fight basis, But if I'm the UFC, I'm not offering him something outrageous. You haven't done anything for us. What have you done for me lately? That's how the business is when it comes to contracts.
Well, what if he says that I'm gonna bring, even though they're not doing pay-per-views and not selling pay-per-views, I'm bringing more Paramount subscriptions in when I fight? What if that's his leverage?
No, I don't believe that's true though, because I think Paramount is so easy to get now, especially like what you said. It's $8.99 for the lowest tier. Anybody can watch Paramount now and get that. What's he gonna do? How does he bring extra viewers? Like, who's gonna say, I'm not buying, Paramount for $8.99 to watch this fight unless Conor McGregor's on it, right? Nobody's saying that now. It used to be, I'm not dumping $60 for this pay-per-view unless Conor McGregor's on it. But now, being $9, he ain't got the leverage like that now.
Okay, so what if they negotiate this contract, and since this is like the first time, this is like a whole new territory with this Paramount deal, and he put something in his contract where we'll look at the metrics and how many new people sign up on the week of the fight. I get a cut of these new subscription, the money from this new subscription, and then they could go off from there and do it. I guess restructure it too if they do actually see a spike in signups during whenever he does fight. And then they'll have data by then, because they'll probably be summer before that fight happens, and they can see how many people have been signing up and viewing for these cards that happen each month. And then if they see like a spike when he fights, then maybe he does have some leverage.
Well, I mean, you got to divide it amongst everybody on that fight card, though. You can't prove it was all him. If it's the White House card that has Conor McGregor versus Masvidal, John Jones versus Tom Aspinall, like, it's not just McGregor bringing all those eyes, and I'm just using those people as examples, but it could be anybody on that card that's bringing extra eyes. So you kind of have to divide it amongst everybody on that card.
What if those people don't negotiate like something like that, a deal like that?
I think anybody in the top 5 or top 10 has traditionally always had some kind of pay-per-view buys or something, I would hope. If not, they got bad managers.
I don't know. What do you think, Steve?
I don't know. It's very weird. And I would say since Conor, I would say he has a big enough camp to get the intel. He probably dragged the fight out strategically because he knew there was going to be a transition of monetization in the company. So and then what do you know? He all of a sudden he's talking about White House fighting. So I don't know. And then on top of that, I just look at these boxing matches that's been on Netflix and how they sort of operate because they, go off subscriptions or whatever. And but it's hard because of what Admire said. You really can't ultimately prove it once you start putting other superstars on the, so to speak, poster. But I would figure, just like any company, there'll be under the table biddings on, hey man, we're going to confirm you for this. And then in the back end, if we achieve this, we will give you this. And that's how I imagine.
Yeah, it's a new world with this Paramount deal, and I feel like we're just scratching the surface with this, and then especially with fighters being underpaid from the get go. I think it's gonna be a lot of fighters asking for more money, and we're seeing contracts renegotiated and whatnot. Now that they got rid of this pay-per-view system, and I'm not even entirely sure whether or not they might try to do like one-offs for like pay-per-views in the future, depending on how this goes so far. Because with Paramount, I know they got like Yellowstone. I know they show because they don't even do first run on Paramount Plus. I saw on like the regular Paramount channel. Like who has Paramount like that? I don't know if y'all know anybody who really has Paramount like that. So I know they got like a lot of Star Trek stuff and it's Viacom and so they own like MTV and Comedy Central and all that. So I know South Park is on there and Beavis and Butthead and all of that. But I mean, I don't really know how popular Paramount Plus is compared to like the Disney Pluses, what's the Netflix, of course, Hulu, and all of that good stuff. So it'll be interesting seeing how this all unfolds and whatnot. But before we move on to the card this weekend, John Anik was on a podcast and someone asked him how they could improve the UFC overall and what would he change about it. And his proposal was cut the shows from 8 hours to 5 hours, from 15 cards a fight to 10, and not sign as many fighters off of Dana's White Contender Series. And overall, he wants them to cut around 150 fighters. So what do you think about this, Admire?
He wants to cut down fighters, cut down shows. I mean, it would make... No, I mean, I don't know. It sounds good in theory, but to me, some of those guys that come off Contender Series are the hungry guys. Like some of those are the best fights, especially the early prelims. When you get those guys off Contender Series on the early prelims, those are the guys that are fighting for a contract that want to make a name for themselves. You need those guys. I mean, Why have less fighters? Why have less fights? I mean, I don't know what his reasoning is behind that. I mean, we've talked about the product being watered down sometimes, but what does it really?
He said it would make it more palatable for the fans.
But what does it really hurt? I guess is my point. It doesn't hurt anything. If it's watered down, don't watch it. I mean, that's all you got to do. Turn the channel.
Before I give my opinion, what do you think about this, Steve?
Well, I can see in some ways maybe cutting some of the fighters makes the quality of the talent pool and fighters who whatever other outlet or bridge they're coming from to get into the UFC make it more prestige. And you would assume, but who knows with Dana, if you cut the fighters, the pool of money would be bigger for the fighters, and maybe I can see that. But yeah, I would say the purpose of cutting the fighters is probably and plus John Anning, he's saying limited to 8 to 5. He's trying to get home early. He's tired of these long calls. That's what that is.
That's probably a little bit of it too. Like I know me and Steve talk about this off record all the time. I'm with this. Like cut down the fighters. They've got way too many fighters on the roster that only fight for a fight or two before getting cut anyway. They got all of these fight night cards. I don't think Anik mentioned that about cutting down the actual show amounts, but I say cut down the show amounts, cut down the number of fighters. I don't care about them cutting down the amount of fights on the cards either. Because like, remember back in the Spike days when you actually had to tune in the cards, even the fight night cards, because it was only like 4 fight night cards a year, and then the rest were pay-per-views, and you actually knew all the fighters on the pay-per-views. I might sound like an old man yell at the cards, but like we've done some cards where like this card isn't even worth watching. We don't know. A lot of these fighters don't have Wikipedia pages, so why are we in pay-per-views? Because we only do fight nights for like the bigger cards on this podcast, but like I wouldn't even imagine even trying to cover some of those fight night cards when they're in the apex and you don't really know any fighters. So I'm surprised you didn't agree with that, am I? I feel like it is watered down, and like Steve said, you'd be able to pay fighters more, have a smaller roster, and then put more prestige in actually being in the UFC. Like and it'll put more eyes, and if you make fighters fight on the regional scene and make them actually earn their way in the UFC instead of just snatching up a lot of these fighters just to fill out a card. So I'm with this. I'm surprised you're not with it, am I?
I mean, I'm like I said, you can just not watch it if you feel like it's watered down, or
And what's the point of like being an organization if nobody's watching? Though, like it's not watch.
Or go back to the old days. I was a fan of WEC. Like create a minor league again.
That would be even better too. Anything but what they've been giving us the past 5 so years. It's basically like the pandemic era, and they went into the apex, even in the Fox era.
Because you know what that would do if they did that, created a minor league, but they still owned it. That would give them another way to gauge ratings of who's watching it and who's good, who's up and coming. And, then they could move people and transition them to the UFC when they're good enough. Like, because a lot of times those guys, they don't know if they're ready. They don't know if people are watching them. So it would be a good gauge to have them kind of separated out, but not losing them to other companies, keeping them active over here under them, but not exactly in the UFC. I mean, I would be a fan of that. That way it would be the best of both worlds. It's not watered down in the main UFC, but you're still keeping them over here. Like, I think something like that needs to happen.
I wouldn't be mad at that either. I mean, when they did acquire WEC, they got rid of some of the higher divisions and just had it for the lighter fighters. But why not have like a minor league with like all of the divisions? Do something besides what we're getting now. Like you said, you can actually see the progression of fighters if you had them fighting on like your quote unquote minor league. And I don't know. There's been a lot of fight night cards where I catch the highlights and not even watch the card because it's like, why am I investing in a fighter that I know y'all are gonna cut probably after this fight? Y'all just doing it just to fill the card up. And I don't know. How do you feel, Steve?
Yeah, I could say I was thinking scenarios of minor league. Have the top of the minor league, have them have a card, and I wouldn't even call it the minor league belt. Give them the gold or something. And when they cross over for having the gold as far as champion, they'll now get introduced in the top 15 of the UFC, and you start fighting to the top there and start making your name. I can see that could be a cool way to do it. Make it to where you can achieve something in the minors, and then when you cross over, it's almost like, what do you call it? The contender series, or you're basically going in a tournament bracket constantly while trying to professionally make it into the UFC. Start fighting the top 15 or something.
Well, I started like a combination of with something me and you talked about, Steve, off the record, and what Am I just said. Like I think that it should be only like 25 fighter, like a top 25 in each division, and if you're not ranked in the 25, you shouldn't even be on the roster. So, and then you could have like that minor league system. Like if you drop out of the top 25, then they snatch somebody up from that league and have it like that. So I feel like that 25 for each division. That's a lot of fighters, and not watering it too much down with these random fighters. And I don't know, but I think they're just gonna keep doing what they're doing, especially now that they don't have pay-per-views. So we'll see. We'll see how it does moving forward. But let's talk about the fight that's actually going down this weekend, UFC 324, and this is in Las Vegas, if I'm not mistaken. Let me double check. Yep, it's going down at the T-Mobile Center in Las Vegas, and I guess it's the new structure of Paramount Plus. They just have prelims. They don't have like early prelims, just the regular prelims. And in the welterweight division, kicking this one off, we had Adam Fugit versus Ty Miller. In the bantamweight division, we got Ricky Tercios versus Cameron Smotherman. Heavyweight division, we got Josh Hokett versus Denzel Freeman. Lightweight division, we got Michael Johnson versus Alexander Hernandez. Flyweight division, we got Alex Perez versus Charles Johnson. Light heavyweight division, we got Nikita Krylov versus Modestas Bukakis. And then middleweight division, we got Adebayo Gautier versus Andre Pulayev. And then to top this one off, in the bantamweight division, we have Umar Nurmagomedov versus Davison Figueiredo. Any of these pique your interest, Admire?
So many of them. And the weird thing is they don't have odds anywhere on any of these. I don't know if that's a new thing or they're just running behind. But, yeah, a lot of fights on this prelims. Big one that sticks out to me, Michael Johnson and Hernandez. I don't really like Hernandez after, the Cowboy thing. I'm a big fan of Michael Johnson. I think
what happened to Hernandez and the Cowboy thing?
He just talked crazy shit to Cowboy, and Cowboy just fucking smoked him. It was awesome. Go back and watch that fight. It was awesome. Michael Johnson, love Michael Johnson. His record does not reflect the fighter that he really is. He's got a lot of losses, but he's got so many good wins. He's like beat everybody. He's even beat Dustin Poirier. He's the one guy that knocked down Khabib. Michael Johnson, he could beat anybody on a good day. If he's having a good day, he could be the fucking champ. But he has a lot of bad days. It just sucks. Love watching him fight. Krylov, always fun to watch fight. The one at the top, Umar against Figueiredo. That's going to be a good fight, man. I can't believe that's on the prelims, So there's a lot of good stuff across them prelims to watch. So I'm going to try to tune in early and watch all of them.
Any of these pique your interest, Steve?
Definitely most of them. One not spoken about, Atiba Gutierrez. Like I said, he's one to watch. He's knocking heads in middleweight.
I think he has like 100% fight finish. I remember his last fight. He's like a ripped stout middleweight. Like probably could fight at light heavyweight, but yeah, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead, Steve.
Oh yeah, so I'm definitely gonna have my eye on him. Michael Johnson, Missouri, St. Louis representative, explosive. The speed makes him powerful. If you're not careful on guard, he's caught many greats. Matter of fact, Gaethje, Khabib. He wins a fight, and sometimes styles of fight it makes him lose. So, but definitely a veteran that I like looking out for. Like I said, of course, Alexander Hernandez, known for the Cowboy, supposed to send his geriatric ass back to the stables, but we saw how that happened. So I'll be watching now.
Yeah, it's a lot of interesting ones on this early prelim. I didn't know Michael Johnson was still fighting. Am I? Is he on like a win streak right now or a losing streak?
Yeah, he's on a 3-fight win streak. Most recent fight was July against Saluber.
And what did he win that by?
Decision. Before that, he knocked out the Ottoman Azadar on a fight night back in 2024.
And I don't know if y'all know about Josh Hokett, but he's an interesting character. For those that's watching on YouTube, he has a pretty cringe post-fight interview. So let's take a look at this.
Ladies and gentlemen, the end comes officially. 56 seconds of round number 1. Referee Mark Smith puts a halt to the fight for your winner by TKO, Josh Hokett!
I'm here with the winner and still undefeated, Josh Hokett. Josh, you talked to us this week how you wanted to prove that American wrestling is best, and you come out here and get a devastating KO. Did you think your hands were going to be what got it done here tonight?
I'm the talk of the town, the USA sound, the most profound, the boy toy, the lady's joy, the master of disaster, the truth speaking pastor's pastor. The biggest arm, the most charm, the one that's gonna do all the harm. I'm more than meets the eye. I'm even sweeter than your grandma's homemade apple pie. And lastly, I'll leave you with this. I already stomped 2 Brazilians, and I'm looking for a third. Walter Walker, you absolutely suck.
Let's hear it for your winner, Josh.
What do y'all think about that cringe Chael Sonnen impression? I guess
That was 100% a Chael Sonnen knockoff.
so. Y'all be tuned into his fight this weekend?
Maybe. I don't know.
How about you, Steve?
Well, since you notarized him, I'll be probably catch him and watch him.
He's fighting somebody without a Wikipedia page, Denzel Freeman, and they're both heavyweights. So I don't even know what to add on to that. I thought you'd be a little bit more entertained by that, Admire.
I don't even know what to say, man. But yeah, I mean, it was straight up a Chael Sonnen promo cut. Be original. I mean, that wasn't original at all. I mean, that was just straight up a ripoff.
Before we move on to the main card, Umar Nurmagomedov, Davison Figueiredo, with Josh Van being the champion, I'm thinking of flyweight. My bad, wrong division. The new champion at bantamweight. So, do you think these guys will be in the mix? Either one will be in the mix if they got to win.
Yeah, isn't Umar up there number 1?
Peter Yan. That's a good question because he couldn't hop Marab. It's no way.
I mean, Umar's ranked up there, I believe. I mean, I don't think he's going to beat Marab, but eventually, I mean, they're probably going to cross paths again. It's weird seeing Umar on a prelim, and not on the main card.
Yeah, that's a little bit interesting. I mean, I'm not gonna bury the lead, but I'm looking at some of the fights. I don't know if you might kick off the first fight and switch those around, but other than that, I don't see any fights that you would, because you want to have the ladies on there on the main card. So, yeah, I don't know what fight you would take off for that fight unless you were to save it for next weekend fight. So, yeah, that's a interesting, how they set that up. But so has there been a rematch announced for Patreon and Marab?
I haven't seen anything officially announced, but I think so. I mean, Marab's been so dominant forever. And I think Barab said he wanted the instant rematch, didn't he?
Yeah, but we all know sometimes you can't always get what you want. And the UFC, they might change their mind tomorrow. They might announce it and then change their mind tomorrow. Looking at the rankings, it looks like Merab is ranked still number 1, like I thought. Umar is 2, Figueiredo 6. So, do the two of you think that the winner of this fight this weekend and the fight that's capping off the prelims, they'll kind of be on standby if they don't make the Merab and Peter Yan trilogy fight?
Yeah, it's like a number 1 contender for the number 1 contender. And kind of a backup or just in case or something, something like that.
How about you? What do you think, Steve?
Yeah, I think he's gonna. They're either, if he returns, get the runner up or get the next. Wait for things to pan out so he can be the next contender again.
Yeah, I think it's gonna, like you said, it's gonna be the backup to the backup, and if they need to insert one of them in there, if something happens with either one of the fighter, I can see them making an interim. If Ya's not able to go, them make an interim between him and Merab, whoever the winner is, and Merab, and then if Merab can't fight, they just throw one of those guys in. They would. Well, Figueiredo, I mean, he wouldn't be jumping over people because he probably would just take Umar's spot if he wins. So that'd be interesting. I'm definitely probably be tuning in that one. If not live, then definitely the replay. So let's hop into the main card, though, fellas. And we are resetting the picks for this year. I got the crown for the 3rd year in a row after 2025. So we'll see if somebody could take the title off me this year with our picks. And kicking this one off, in the featherweight division, we have Arnold Allen versus Jean Silva. What are your thoughts on this one, Amir?
What was Arnold Allen's last fight?
I feel like he just fought in the 4th quarter.
I was gonna say, I thought he had something pretty recent. Gazi, July 2024.
Oh, he hasn't fought in that long?
Yeah. And Silva's coming off of a loss to Diego Lopez in September.
Yeah, he's a fight nerd, Jean Silva.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Yep, give me the fight nerd. I don't even have to talk anymore, man. I'm down with the fight nerds.
That easy. What do you think about this one, Steve?
I'm going to have to go with John Silva. He was doing damn well, good job with Lopez. He just got saw red too much. Got knocked out his last fight. But, like I said, I think he has more than enough skill to defeat Arnold Allen. So, definitely Silva. Silva.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Silva as well. Just because of that layoff, I didn't realize it's been that long since Allen has fought. So all 3 of us have Silva, and then I think Silva's gonna be looking to redeem himself after getting beat in his last fight by Lopez. So all 3 of us got Silva in this one. Hopefully, it's a good fight to kick off the main card in this Paramount era. But let's move on to the next fight on this card. In the women's flyweight division, we got Natalia Silva versus Rose Namajunas. This should be a good one as well. What are your thoughts on this one, Amir?
Yeah, this should be a real good fight. Rose is one of those people, man, that just I can't really bet against her. And then
sure you can.
Silva's tough though, man. I mean, Silva's on just a crazy run right now. Hasn't lost since 2017, a 9-year streak of wins. I mean, that's hard to pick against. When's the last time Rose lost? She lost to Blanchfield just 2 years ago.
I can't even remember that fight.
Yeah, I was gonna say that it was on a fight night. Rose has 1 inch height, same reach. God, I hate to. Give me Silva. I have to, man. It's hard to bet against a 9-year win streak.
How do you think she's gonna beat her?
Decision. I mean, it's going to be a long, drawn out fight.
So you think it's just gonna be a back and forth?
Yeah, I think Silva's just going to, probably smother her a lot. Probably stay on top a lot.
Okay. So you got Silva. Who you got, Steve?
I'm gonna have to go with Silva because I think she's on a streak and focused, and Namajunas, she's been up and down. So I believe Silva's hungry, and she's actually one of those people that are climbing up to be one of those women that are top tier skilled and possibly surpass, timeline of Namajunas as far as like passing one of the women goats.
Okay. So oh wow. Silva's a -410. That's kind of disrespectful. Why do you think the odds are like that, Am? Rose
Heavy
is a plus
favorite.
320. Rose is a plus 320.
I didn't even look at the odds. That's wild. I don't know, man. They must be knowing something. Not a lot of faith in Rose.
Maybe, like you said, that streak that Silva's on has been taken into great consideration. So, well, I don't know why, but I got to go with the odds on this one. I still think Rose has a lot of fight left in her, but I'm going to go with Silva, just kind of that crazy streak she's been on. But I may be wrong, but we all three got Silva in this one. And moving on to the next fight, which I say one of the news stories just because we're talking about this actual fight. Heavyweight division, we got Waldo Cortez Acosta versus Derek Lewis. And before the fight, Derek Lewis said that UFC injected him with some peptides. And then as soon as he came up with that, Jeff Nowinski came up and denied it. They said they shot him with, they gave him shots, but they were like, let me look it up. They gave him injectables, but they weren't peptides. They gave him injectable compounds. That means, but he denied that they were peptides. And according to research, the peptides are like they help you recover. They make you build muscle stronger, especially if you're aging. So, what do you think about this news story, Yamar, before we get into the predictions?
You can't take anything that dude says serious. He's wild. I think he's even came out before and said something about the fights being fixed, maybe, or something. Like, he always has some wild shit to say after the fights. Like,
but hold up. Let me stop you there because just reading the whole article, his coach came out and said it was really mind blowing how quickly the peptides took effect. It's going to be a game changer for him. So now, what do you think about that, Admire? That was his coach saying this.
I don't know, man. I mean, is his coach just as crazy as he is? I mean, I don't know.
Both Lewis and the coach said it. So Lewis said, UFC provided me with some great peptides. I've been taking it every day, and I've been feeling the difference. And then this coach said it was really mind blowing how quickly the peptides took effect. Why would they make this up though?
Peptides.
Why would they make like something that specific up, and why would they like incriminate themselves if it wasn't true? Like falsely incriminate.
I want to know what peptides is. Like, what is the definition of peptides?
Like I was in the gym earlier today, and I was trying to research it, and like all the things I've been looking up was like Bay. It was just like saying it's a compound that, but then I did a little bit more research. Apparently, it helps you recover. Like I said, it helps build muscle. And
short chains of amino acids, building blocks of proteins, crucial for body functions like hormone signaling, muscle repair, and metabolism. Benefits of anti-aging, muscle growth, fat loss. I mean, it kind of sounds like a steroid, but I mean,
and like I said, Jeff Novitzky is the UFC's drug guy. He said it wasn't peptides; it was injectable compounds. So, what do you think about this whole debacle, Steve?
Man, I don't know. It's probably it's sort of like when you say something, but you know you're not going to get in trouble because it ain't true. Because you're in a scenario just to do it. He's a jokester. Pretty sure if he didn't do it and he said it anyway, he wouldn't get any repercussions.
Why wouldn't he get repercussions if it's banned?
Because I feel like if he did do it, he wouldn't be fighting this weekend. And if he didn't do it, he's like trolling, and they'll probably give him a talk behind the scenes, like, "Hey man, we know you're joking, but come on, man, we're running a company, we can't be joking like that." Well,
that's a wild thing to joke about, though. Like then you have more eyes magnified on you, especially with your age as well. Like he's like 41, he's no spring chicken. I know he's a jokester, but that's wild. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
And who knows if they did, man? I guess he's pulling public leverage on them.
I don't know. Seems like you're pondering over there, Admire.
I work for a health company, and I've just never heard of peptides. I'm just kind of like mind blown. But I'm just mind blown by that. But then I'm reading an article that it says UFC drug czar, Jeff Novitzky. So I'm like, why did this not come across my radar at all?
Yeah, I'm surprised. Usually you're the first to see these stories. I was just scrolling through stories to talk about that, and that popped across my. I'm like, interesting. That's coming so close to the fight. So I don't know. That's wild if he is joking about that, but
then it says Derek Lewis says he misspoke when he used the term peptides and clarified that he does not receive any products from the UFC, but from the UFC's partner, Regenerate RX.
That just sounds like PR cleanup. Why would he say something like you said? You haven't heard of peptides. Before I read this article, I hadn't heard of peptides. So how could he misspoke about? How could he have misspoken about that?
Yeah, I don't know. That's weird.
I think he took him. I wonder if he could send me some of those. I'm not in the UFC. Inject me some of those peptides. But
they probably told him shut the fuck up or you're off the card this weekend.
That's probably what. I mean, they probably had him flush his system out. But let's get back to the matter at hand. He's facing Waldo Cortez Acosta. Who do you got in this one, Amar? What do you think about this fight?
Well, fuck, I don't know now, man. I don't know if he has peptides helping him or not. Man, Costa's got some wins, but he doesn't have like real big wins. He's a little bigger, but Derek Lewis just always seems to like shine when he needs to. This is a weird fight all the way around. Do you have the odds in front of you? I don't have the odds.
I do. Waldo Cortez Acosta is a minus 355 to Derek Lewis is plus 280.
Holy shit. Well, I guess we'll go with the odd makers. Give me Cortez Acosta.
Steve?
This is a hard one because, Lewis, he is who he is, but Costas, he's on the rise, and actually went up against some contenders and maybe lost the decision, but or one like Spivak won against him. Ryan's fan, and I feel like it's like a gatekeeping measurement to see where you are. I think right now he has his groove and is on the rise. But man, getting hit with Lewis one time, that's an equalizer. So, man, this is hard. I'll go with Costa. I'll go with Lewis.
All right. First fight, somebody's picked differently. I'm going with Waldo Cortez, but I wouldn't be surprised if Lewis, because heavyweight is a weird division. Anything can happen, but I don't know, especially now that you mentioned it, Admire. I didn't think about it. Those peptides, he might be on that. It might be helping him, but I think Waldo Cortez will pull through and he'll get the win. I don't even think it's gonna be a finish. I think he's just gonna outpoint Derek Lewis. So give me Waldo in this one. Before we get to the co-main event, a fight that was supposed to be the co-main event, Kayla Harrison versus Amanda Nunes, was scrapped. What was that, last week the story broke, Admire, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, it was last week. Really close to the fight week.
Yeah, very close to the fight week. Story broke out that Kayla Harrison had to do neck surgery, and then a few days after that, she was saying that if she didn't do the surgery, she could have been paralyzed, and this fight is no longer on. What were your thoughts when you heard this news story, Admire?
Yeah, my first thought was like, why did you wait till like a week before the fight to do this? But then the more I looked into it, it sounded like it was like an unknown thing, really. And then today, when I kind of re-looked over it, it talked about like this surgery was like kind of an emergency thing. Like it was, she didn't get this surgery done, it was going to lead to her being paralyzed. So it was like, it had to happen. Like there was no waiting till after a fight to get it done. Like it had to happen now.
Yeah, like I said, like it kind of caught me off guard when I saw the story. What were your thoughts when you saw this, Admire? Excuse me, Steve.
Well, yeah, I saw it, and she said that at least the good news that surgery was successful, and she said as soon as the surgery was over, there was no more pain. And I don't know if she had chronically bad neck, and then it got worse during that camp. But she definitely said the pain is gone after the surgery. So I should say a fast recovery.
Yeah, Amanda Nunes' reaction, you think she would be mad, but she was actually kind of sad, and she just was wishing her a speedy recovery. But she said she wasn't interested in fighting in an interim fight. She wants to fight for the real belt. So what do y'all think about her decision not to take a replacement fight, Admire?
Her choice. She was coming back after a long layoff, and you don't want to do a late replacement, somebody that you didn't actually train for, and just get your ass beat. So it's better
but not even like a last minute. Of course, I think that's smart not to do like a last minute replacement, but not maybe even fighting maybe a couple months down the line for interim. She said not interested in that. What do you think about just her just waiting until Kayla recovers?
I mean, that's the fight everybody wants to see. I mean, so just and she's been around long enough, and she gets to call her shots at this point. If that's what she wants to do, then that's it.
Steve?
Yeah, if anybody in the UFC, a few people that have leeway to say what they want. I mean, she left on top, so this can't say she's running. She cleared out the whole division, lost it, got it back. Other than Kayla Harrison, there's really nobody to face.
Juliana Pena, even though she already, that'd be a rubber match. She lost her once for an interim belt.
And it'd be the third time, right?
Yeah, it'd be
I would say
a
it'd be a
rubber match.
There, but I don't think anybody wants to see it though.
I just think that would be perfect opportunity for her to get a warm up before. Either you get a warm up and you get to shake the rust off before you face Kayla, or if you get beat by Juliana Pena, then you don't got it no more and you can go back into retirement.
Yeah, that's the problem though. If she does get in there and she loses to her, then she loses that fight. I think that, the Harrison fight's the bigger fight.
Yeah, but she's not getting any younger. I think we're like the same age. I think she'll be turning 38 this year. So I don't know. But before we move on to the co-main event, do you think Kayla Harrison will come back the same fighter as next? That's nothing to play with, Admire.
I don't know, man. Yeah, like you said, nothing to play with. That's a rough one. I don't know. I would hope that she doesn't come back and just like jump right back into the top. Like really take her time to just train, feel it out, see how it feels. Don't go against the top contender when she comes back. Like,
but if they don't strip the title off her, she has to fight the top contender.
I'm sure she's gonna be out a while. I'm sure that they'll probably strip it.
So that brings me back to the first point. You don't think Amanda would just sit out and not fight for a vacant belt? She said she doesn't want the interim title, but if it's vacant, why wouldn't you fight if you're Amanda?
I don't know. I mean, it could go a lot of different ways. I don't know. I think Amanda wants the title, but I also think Amanda wants to prove that she can beat Kayla Harrison.
That would be weird. That'd just be weird if they do strip Kayla and then it's just Amanda's just sitting there waiting for her and they just let two other women fight for the vacant title. I don't know what UFC is gonna do. So, and I don't know how long it's gonna take her to recover from this neck surgery as well. I don't know. What are your thoughts, Steve?
Well, I would say maybe, depending on her recovery, she might line up for the White House card. We never know. And that would be gold medalist, right? And
yeah.
Olympus.
Yeah, gold. Two-time gold medalist.
Representing America. I would say that might align her up, especially if she recovers in time.
You were going to say something, Admire?
Oh, I just pulled it up. It says that her recovery time is 12 weeks or more. So, I mean, it doesn't sound like a huge time, but I mean, it's still a neck surgery.
Maybe it's like one of those things where like it could have paralyzed her, but now that she's got it fixed, the recovery is not like a bad recovery now that it's fixed.
Right.
It's like, sometimes things are like half a centimeter from messing you up, but like the recovery from a surgery like that is not that bad. Like one of those type things. Well, we'll see what happens, but let's get into the co-main event, fellas. Bantamweight division, we got Admire's guy, Sugar Sean O'Malley, taking on Song Yudong. What are your thoughts on this one, Admire?
This should be a good fight. Sean O'Malley's one of those guys that I've always, kind of just bet against, and he always proves me wrong. Song Yudong, he's kind of made his name over the last few years. I think his last loss was to Peter Yan. Other than that, he's had some good wins. His last win was against Cejudo. I think O'Malley's, I don't know. He seems to be training hard, but he's also been really social media focused. He's done a lot of like skits on a lot of podcasts, a lot of funny stuff on the social media. So I don't know if he's hyper focused on the training or where his head's at. But his skill set I don't think has really deteriorated. I think his skill set is still above Song Yudong, so I'm going to have to go with Sean O'Malley for sure on this one.
He's Sean O'Malley is a minus 205 to Song Yudong's plus 170. So
Sounds about right. Yeah. So Sean O'Malley.
Steve?
I would have to go with. I'll have to go with Sean O'Malley.
Okay. Any particular reason?
Both stand-up fighters. Both pretty much don't go to the ground. But I'll go because Sean O'Malley has better tools, longer fighter, longer legs, can keep him at bay. Pretty much avoided in his previous fights anybody that could, KO possibly. The Peter Yan's the same size as Yadong, so I think he'll be able to hold himself. Especially he's not a wrestler like Marab. I think he'll do okay as far as Yadong.
Yeah, I think Sean O'Malley has something to prove, so I think he's gonna go in there and try to style on Song Yudong. I mean, anybody can get caught. Unless he gets too cocky, I don't think he'll get caught, and I think he's gonna try to put on something for the highlight reel. So I think I'm gonna take Sean O'Malley too, but I expect this to actually probably be a pretty competitive fight. So this will be a good one to watch. Which brings us to our main event, fellas. Lightweight division. We got Justin Gaethje taking on Paddy Pimblett for the interim UFC lightweight championship. Thoughts on this one, Amir?
Man, this one's a tough one for me. I have traditionally just not been a Paddy Pimblett fan, but it's hard to deny what he's done, especially after, he really did good against Michael Chandler, on the feet, took him down, did just whatever he wanted to do with Michael Chandler. And then the way he beat Bobby Green, not a lot of people seen that coming. Bobby Green is a great boxer. Paddy Pimblett, kind of threw hands with him and then, jumped up and pulled that choke on him. Gaethje is always down to bang, but, I don't know if his chin is what it used to be. I think Paddy Pimblett is just all around a more accurate striker, better ground fighter, just a little bit better in all areas, has the longer reach, has, youth on his side. I think the only area that Paddy Pimblett doesn't have him is like height. So I got to go with Pimblett on this one.
You said he's not taller than Gaethje?
No, I think he's like an inch or two shorter.
Huh, that's interesting. How tall is Gaethje? Because Paddy's he's about an inch. Gaethje's got like an inch on him. Paddy's 5'10" and Gaethje's 5'11". I wonder what their reach is like. For some reason, I thought Paddy was a little bit lankier.
Gaethje's got a 70-inch reach and Paddy's got a 73.
I think Paddy's a longer fighter. Steve, what are your thoughts on this fight?
Man, seems like every time Gaethje's went with a striker, I always went with Gaethje because he is a striker. But the thing is, I feel like Gaethje may have the better hand striking. But then again, I think Pimblett, all he has to do is one punch to catch him, which in previous fights, Gaethje would get caught and then submitted. And we all know Pimblett has submission skills, which is making me lean towards Paddy Pimblett because Gaethje, he hasn't came through when it comes to capitalizing on interim titles or has he won an interim title?
Gaethje?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Well, falling short with championships. So I think Pimblett, he's focused, and if Gaethje gives him his back, which every time we've seen Gaethje fall, it's been because of that. I think Pimblett has a good chance.
Remember Gaethje won that interim off of Tony Ferguson. It was I think it was the first pandemic fight, I want to say.
Right. And they both defeated Ferguson, haven't they? If I'm not mistaken.
Didn't Patty like mess him up pretty bad?
Yeah. It was a unanimous decision.
I thought he nah, you're right. It was a unanimous decision. For some reason, I thought he put him on a meme, but I guess that wasn't him. But oh yeah, he knocked out Chandler and King Green he choked him out. But yeah, I mean, I guess I got Pimblett as well. I mean, I feel like Gaethje is kind of a little punchy now. Like, I don't know, for some reason, my opinion changed on him a little bit after getting knocked out on UFC 300 by Holloway. He's a little long in the tooth. Like Am I said, Patty's the younger fighter. Only thing Gaethje really has is ancient height in him. But I'll give Gaethje this. I don't think Patty's like not like a one punch knockout guy. We know Gaethje power is the last thing to go, they say, and Gaethje does have that. So you don't think it might be a possibility Gaethje could catch Pimblett with something?
He could, but I'm trying to think if I've ever seen Patty Pimblett get like hit hard. I think Chandler caught him a couple good times, and he just kind of ate it. Chandler's got heavy hands.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's true, but I don't know. Gaethje is like a different type of violence than I want to say Chandler is. Even though Chandler's been relying on his hands basically in the UFC, he's still got that wrestling pedigree. Yeah, I don't know. I just think Pimblett is gonna be craftier and find a way to win this fight. So all three, you got Pimblett too as well, am I right?
Yep.
All three of us have Pimblett in this one. Before we get on out of here, like, this is the interim title fight that no one really asked for. So why are we even doing this?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's weird, especially if Gaethje happens to win, seeing him hold the belt, because you're gonna have him holding the belt, and UFC 300 just plays in my head. It's like Max could come in here and just snatch that right from you if he wants.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if you read anything about it, Steve. Like, why were they so eager to put this interim title fight on?
Man, I don't know. Maybe a little bit desperate. Out of nowhere, is to Ilya, vacated. So it probably put him in a scramble because they had things planned to probably realign things.
Yeah, and until facts have been substantiated, I didn't really want to get into the Ilya story, but we know he's dealing with personal things and allegations, and until more details come on that, I won't shed any light on that. But hopefully he gets his things in order and straight. But I feel like they're just doing it. I don't even know, because you don't have to sell pay-per-views. I feel like they're just doing it just to say they're putting on a title fight, but you don't have to sell pay-per-view anymore. Why not just make it a standalone main event instead of just having a plastic or paper belt on the line? But UFC just stuck in their old ways. So, but we'll be tuned in to this fight this weekend. But coming close to the end of the show, we're glad to be back in the year 2026 to do some more podcasting, and we'll be back next week to recap this card and also preview UFC 325. So we'll just do that all in one show, because they decided to put two number cards on 2 weekends in a row. I don't know if that's ever happened before, in my memory.
Not that I remember.
I don't know I know you got a pretty good memory as far as the history of these fights, Steve? Has that ever happened before? 2 pay-per-view, and not pay-per-views anymore, number cards back to back like this?
Not that I remember. No, not back to back.
It's insane. Maybe. This is kind of insane. It's more work for us to do. What are you doing, Dana? But yeah, before we get on out of here, Admire, the band's getting back together on Friday, aren't they?
Yeah. The reunion show that nobody asked for. Me, Jay, and Rucker having a little show on Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. We're going to see what happens. I don't know. It'll be on Twitch, I believe. Jay does his gaming over there, and we're just going to get together and shoot the shit like the old days on 80 Proof. I see you're wearing your 80 Proof shirt. So we're just going to get on there and bullshit. We're going to get on there and bullshit for a little bit and see what happens. And I don't know. We talked about doing a once every couple months show or something. Just see what happens. Just catch up.
Yes, I'll definitely be tuning in. So anybody listening or watching this, make sure to tune in to 80 Proof as well on Twitch, and it'll be a good time. I wish I could have a drink, but if y'all do this monthly, I'll be able to drink for the next show, so that'll be fun. But yeah, make sure to follow us on all social media platforms, the TikTok, the Instagram, and YouTube, and all of that good stuff. But we'll be back next week to recap UFC 324 and the preview UFC 25, but that'll do it for us here on Haymaker Combat Sports. Until next time, be safe out there. Later.
This is Haymaker Combat Sports. Here, coming straight from the source. Only with the real, they ain't here to dress it up. Sweet Science MMA, you can get it all from us. Trust, 5 stars, cause it's live.